My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as broke.
Taylor, this is going in and out on me today.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions,
I know,
the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community.
I mean, it's in incredibly.
I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second, control room? So that's not gunshots?
Thanks.
Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Barr has literally been left on the floor.
Yeah.
And just being able to show up and clear it isn't enough. So it's great that we're having briefings every day, but we should be allowed to ask the questions even if it makes them uncomfortable.
So this is how, by the way, this is how rumors spread. This is how conspiracy theories get spun up by government not being straightforward and not getting information that it's aware of, that it has access to, and make that public right away. I'm for transparency, and right now there's very little transparency.
Don't sugarcoat it. Give it to me straight.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Valentine's Day, it should be a big restaurant day. And but we'll open 25% indoor dining New York City Friday before Valentine's Day, so they'll have a big Valentine's Day.
Oh, what a lovely gesture.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. They stopped the touchdown counting last night in Tampa, so we don't know the results yet. The mail-in touchdowns and field goals and safeties and extra points have not come in yet. So it is still possible that the Chiefs can pull it out. 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. I had the sound turned down for most of it. I didn't hear the Black National Anthem. I turned up the sound when they kicked off, and then I kept it up for a while, and then I realized what I was going to be seeing in the ads. So then I started, whenever they'd go to a break, I'd turn the sound back down. And so I missed the Springsteen abortion. That just, I can't stand that guy from day, at all. But I did, my favorite ad, the only ad I will ever remember from the Super Bowl last night is the one where they had they had some horror movie ad, and then at the very end it said, "Coming this summer, available only at theaters." And I thought,
that was the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah,
old.
Yeah, and I thought to myself,
creepy.
I said, "Available only at theaters. I guess they don't want anyone to see this movie." I mean, they just wasted $5 million. Who's going to the theater to watch any of these movies? I mean, this is one of those things where they keep, they keep saying, "Oh, no, it's gonna all these things that people do, like going to baseball games. It's gonna come back." No, going to baseball games is not going to come back. Going to restaurants is going to come back, but going to movies is not coming back. I don't think. So anyway, but I was just telling Grace, I'd never seen a guy as miserable as Russell Wilson having to sit next to Roger Goodell. But I got to say, I felt his pain. I mean, can you imagine having to spend 3 minutes, let alone 3 hours, listening to the wit and wisdom of the commissioner of the National Football League? And again, I wanted the Chiefs to win, but seeing the screaming and yelling that was going on afterwards on social media about Brady winning, I mean, it was delicious. I love some guy, I guess he was black, said it just seems racist that Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls and Michael Jordan only won 6 rings. Well, I mean, Brady played longer than Michael Jordan, and didn't Michael Jordan take a few years off to try to play baseball? I mean, it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges, I believe. And so I said, it's not fair because Colin Kaepernick hasn't gotten a chance to play in the Super Bowl. Neither has the starting quarterback of your high school football team. You know why? Because he wasn't good enough. The same thing applies to Colin Kaepernick. And what's Colin Kaepernick's complaint anyway? I mean, he's probably made more money in the last 4 years with all of his woke sneaker contracts than Tom Brady, just probably more than anybody else in the league. And he never took a head. He never had to go into the tent for the concussion protocol and all that stuff. He's just been goofing around. 844-500-4242. Let's see. People are all agreeing with me about Springsteen. Yeah, Bruce from the Mets, 508. Springsteen is a turd. All that stuff. I saw a little bit of the M&M ad, and the woman says, "I'm sorry, I called you Karen," and then gives her some M&Ms, and the woman says, "But my name is Karen," and she says, "Oh, I'll give you some more M&Ms." That was kind of funny, but I said to myself, that's about as good as I'm going to do. And by the way, I thought Budweiser was out. I saw at least two Bud Light ads in there. What happened? I mean, did they cut?
There was a Bud Light ad and an Anheuser-Busch ad that covered all of their brands.
But I thought they'd pulled out. Didn't I read that story? Coke was out, Pepsi was out, and Budweiser was out. Anheuser-Busch. Yeah, I thought.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I know the Clydesdales had been retired.
I know. I missed the Clydesdales. That was. I always used to like those around Christmas time. The Clydesdales, going through that snowy area over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house. The Clydesdales go. I always liked that too. Anyway, 844-500-4242. How about the Dolly Parton ad? How about Dolly Parton taking grief for an ad for small businesses? An inexpensive Squarespace, an inexpensive website creating framework, and they're angry about that. She was telling people, maybe if you have a lemon, make lemonade. That's what it boiled down to, the ad. If you're not making enough dough and you have some skill or some hobby that you could convert into a small business or a cash generating sidelight, what's wrong with that? I don't get it. But they were angry. These people are angry about that. As much as we all love Dolly Parton, it's still disappointing to hear her literally sing the praises of working, thundered a columnist at NBC News. What's wrong with working? I mean, The Protestant work ethic is a pretty good thing, in my humble opinion. 844-500-4242. Let me read some of these other tweets about Brady. Oh, this is Kamala Harris's niece. Team with racist name. Now this is another question. How is the Chiefs a racist name? It's like the Raiders. Raider is not an ethnic or racial slur word. It's a noun. And so is chief. Chief. Team with racist name versus team with Trump supporting star player. Did I get that right? That's her equally brilliant niece, apparently.
I thought Chiefs was only racist when you appropriated the word like chief executive officer.
Well, what does that mean?
The appropriation of the word, using it for something it wasn't intended for, to generalize what it stands for. Like chief, you're the head of your tribe. Chief executive officer, you're the head of a corporation.
I don't know. It seems pretty crazy to me. Here's another one. Update: Tom Brady is winning, and it's Black History Month. This has to be racist. Okay, apparently a lot of people said that. That's okay. All right, there you go. 844-500-4242. and I tell you one thing. I was out in the kitchen with the sound turned down when I saw Biden and Jill Biden come on, and I did not rush over to the TV, to the remote control, to turn up the sound, because I knew what was going to be going on there. Biden looks like, speaking of is it a racial slur to say that Biden looks like a wooden Indian in front of a cigar store? He just
Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Dundee. Don't like that erratic behavior. He didn't say, whoa, since when has the first lady delivered 90% of the minute 20 comments, or however long it was, on before the Super Bowl begins? It's just absurd. 844-500-4207. They hate Tom Brady because he was a Trump supporter. I also had to shut off most of the odds, as they were horrible virtue signaling. Yeah, they were. I mean, who needs that? I think the corporations that got out of it, I think they made the right decision. It's better to be in places where you don't have to worry about being trashed by the wokerati, the social justice warrior lynch mobs. Who the hell needs that? And the people that probably your best customers are just are tuning it out, like me in the 207. Or we're just like, we get the sound turned down. 844-500-4242. I thought about I used to, in the old days, sometimes I used to just switch over to the radio. When Hank Stram was with the former Chiefs coach, was a really great radio announcer, and I'd listen to them instead of the TV, just because I liked it better. But I figured that the radio would be just as inane now as TV. 844-500-4242, 919. I long for the good old days of marching bands at halftime. Yeah, that was another thing I passed on. I never heard of this guy Weekend, or whatever it was, Weekend. They if he can't spell weekend right, I mean, I just said, I'm not interested in this. I'm with you about the marching bands. Remember, they used to have the things they had the salutes. A salute to mayonnaise. That was a big joke at the time. This, they would just have all these stupid salutes and pass around cards for the student cheering sections. It'd be more entertaining than the crap they have now. Anyway, we'll come back and we'll move on from the Super Bowl. We'll open up the lines. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. The impeachment trial starts tomorrow in the Senate. I don't think we're going to be spending a lot of time on that as the week or days go by. 844-500-4242. Bruce from the Met says, my mute button doesn't work anymore after last night. It's always important to have extra batteries around when you have these major TV events, because they're going to be just so celebrations of political correctness. You cannot have your remote control die during things like the Super Bowl anymore. My friends at Eden Pure have done it again, and for as long as supplies last, Thunderstorm air purifier will come with a free copy of Kennedy Babylon. I'm holding both volumes up. You get one or the other. That's buy one Thunderstorm air purifier, get Kennedy Babylon for free. It's been months. People still ask me if it really works. Not only does it really work, it works in hours. Our sales rep came down to Florida and there was a funky smell at the Airbnb, but it was no match for the Thunderstorm.
Hey, Howie, which takes up more surface space, Kennedy Babylon or the Eden Pure Thunderstorm?
They're shaped differently. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm is a little thicker, but basically the Kennedy Babylon has a lot more space. Look at it. Yeah, you can see it right here. Yeah, the Kennedy Babylon. Kennedy Babylon's a lot bigger than the, and the Kennedy Babylon's both of them are about 300 pages. Anyway, you can pack your Eden Thunderstorm in your suitcase and take it with you wherever you go. Don't worry about any kind of odor you get. It's so small, you can hold it in your hand and you plug it right into the wall. That's why it's so easy to take with you on a trip. You don't have to replace any air filters, which of course saves you time and money. If you're like me, you're watching very little TV these days, and there's no better to pass the time than curl up with one of my Kennedy Babylon books. It's true crime, you know. The Eden Pure air purifier can handle pet, kitchen, tobacco odors, or that damp basement smell. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie. The free book is while supplies last. So grab yours today. Some listeners found the offer over the weekend before we even started promoting it. So it's moving fast already. EdenPure.com, code word Howie book. Shipping is free. I'm Howie Carr.
Don't touch that dial. Howie Carr will be back after this.
I know he always asks me tough questions, and he always has an edge to them, but I like him anyway.
Now that you're president and you're saying there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months, what happened to 2 months ago when you were talking declaratively about I'm going to shut down the virus?
When President Trump was imposing travel restrictions in March, specifically on China, then candidate Biden called it xenophobic and fear-mongering. So now President Biden is putting travel restrictions on people coming in from other countries. What word do we use to describe that?
Well, I don't think that's quite a fair articulation.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
But he was celebrating an evening, a historic day.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists. Credulous, rude, tin-toothed, working class, angry, white.
Aging, angry, white guys.
Angry white man.
Angry, white, old men.
These angry white men.
The angry white vote. All these angry white people. Too many of them want to see the people who are begging for change put down.
Racist, bigoted base.
It's white privilege, it's white nationalism, it's anger, it's rage, it's incel.
You tolerate a certain level of racism.
1 in 3 Americans are racist. The credulous boomer rube demo.
Y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling. Even though my
math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading.
They're too far gone.
Look at them. They're high-fiving each other, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at and the Garden Marriott, and they're going to have some drinks.
We're not just gonna let you walk out of here. Who's we, sucker? Smith, and Wesson, and me.
The Howie Carr Show.
There's a headline for the Babylon Bee. Conservatives sit down for a relaxing evening of being insulted by every major corporation in America. That's a good way to put it. There was a poll that came out this weekend. The Gallup asks every year, do you have satisfaction with big business, major corporations in America? And Democrats always hate it because they just want to be on welfare, obviously, like Joe Biden and his family. But Republicans usually say, yeah, I'm for business. I like business. Last year in this survey that was just done this year, 57% of Republicans said they are liked and are satisfied with big business. This year, it was 31%. So when it was cut in half almost. And you know why? Because everybody's getting slapped in the face by these companies, not just last night, but all the way along. You know, the cancel culture, the diversity university taking place everywhere. For all of your last-minute Valentine's Day needs, head to 1-800-FLOWERS. Right now, get 24 multicolored roses for $34.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. To order, go to 1-800-FLOWERS.com, click the radio icon, and enter code Howie. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Will you be watching any live coverage of the impeachment trial?
Absolutely not.
88% say no.
Yeah. I don't. We're going to have a guy on from the RNC, Paris Denard, at 4:30, but we'll talk about it. I don't mind talking about it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to, especially the people, the House impeachment managers. I'm going to watch Eric Swalwell, who has a girlfriend who's a Chinese spy, accusing President Trump basically of being an insurrectionist. I don't think so. Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Howie, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
You know, I caught the Springsteen commercial last night, and to me, it looked like a senior citizen driving around looking for the Bluebird special. He looked ancient.
He's had a lot of plastic surgery, though, hasn't he? I was reading that today. I didn't see the ad, but people said that he looked like he'd had another round of Botox or whatever before they filmed those ads.
Same guy Kerry goes to because it looks horrible.
Thanks for the call, Joe. Nathan, you're next with Howie Carr.
Hey, how's it going, Howie?
Good.
So everyone's up in arms about the Chiefs and the Redskins being racist, and then Trump says he's a nationalist, and everybody goes crazy. How come the Washington Nationals aren't getting any heat?
Yeah, you know, that's an excellent point. I had forgotten about the Washington Nationals. Yeah, if white nationalists are a bad thing, how can a team called the Nationals be any good? And for that matter, Nathan, what about the National League? Shouldn't that have its name changed too? And the National Football League, and the National Basketball Association, and the National Hockey League? They should all have their names changed. Thank you.
National anthem.
Just national should be a bad word. It should be a cancelable word for everybody. Liz, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Liz. Liz, you there? Dana, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dana.
Hey, Dana. How you doing, Howie Carr?
Good.
Colin Kaepernick did play for the San Francisco 49ers against the Harbaugh's Baltimore Ravens.
Right. But that was a long time ago. That was more than 4 years ago.
Yeah, he didn't do very good the next year.
No, he was one of these guys. He looked like he was coming along, and then all of a sudden he fell apart. You know, whether it was his girlfriend who made him into a woke poster boy or whoever it was. But sometimes guys look like they're doing well, and at the age of 25 or 30, they just totally fall apart. That's just and that's what happened to him. And I mean, to say that he's been denied a chance to be in the league. I mean, I think the league wanted him to come back, but he wasn't good enough. And who wants to inject this controversy needlessly. I mean, it's one thing if it's Antonio Brown and he's a guy who can catch touchdown passes for you. I mean, then you're maybe willing to withstand the controversy, but just for the sake of being woke, it's absurd. Chris, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Chris.
Hello, Howie. I think President Trump should testify tomorrow and should tell the truth of what may have happened.
Yeah, but I see. I don't even. I was going to say it could be a perjury trap, but I don't know how it could be a perjury trap because it's not really a judicial proceeding. So I mean, they're just going to try to. They would just try to torture him. There's no way. No, there's not a chance in a million that he would ever testify and have to take questions from those buffoons. And why should he? He didn't do anything. Did you know Antifa was marching through Washington on Saturday night? They were menacing diners in the restaurants, and they were screaming that they wanted all the money. If we don't get the money, we burn it down and things like that. And you know why you don't know that? Because it wasn't reported on any of the networks, or the cable channels. It's just on the internet in a few places. I don't even think it made the Washington Post. I guess that's not a surprise. I'm Howie Carr.
Behind us, and what happens next is anyone's guess. Most agree, though, that taxes will be going up in the future. Is your portfolio ready? Kevin Frisbee and the team at Frisbee & Associates want you to be sure.
If you want to come in and take advantage of that free consultation, we're going to have the 100-100 challenge. So if you have at least $100,000 in an investment account with somebody else and you go through our processes, no obligation, you're going to be able to get a $100 bill. You could leave our office with that $100 bill, and we're going to do the comparison, and we're going to send you on your way, and then you could circle back around if you wanted to.
Call now for your no-cost, no-obligation consultation, and you could walk out with $100 cash. That's right, $100 cash. Call 800-989-9100, 800-989-9100. And be sure and catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon for market reviews and tips on creating the retirement of your dreams. Call Kevin Frisbee today at 800-989-9100, 800-989-9100.
And now a namaste moment with Chris Cuomo.
Hope with me that today Dr. King's example inspires the many striving for better and enlightens the toxic few determined to be their worst.
You're gonna have a problem. What are you gonna do about it? Ruin your I'll throw you down these stairs like a punk.
We could not have a better reminder that you can't kill an idea with violence.
And I don't want some jackass, loser, fat tire biker to be able to pull over and get in my face and in my space.
And that violence can be used as a refuge for those coming from a place of animus and ignorance.
What's the best way to handle it? You just ignore it.
Naked choke?
Just ignore
Punch to
it.
the sternum? As Dr. King taught us, darkness can only be removed by the light of truth. And love is the ultimate form of truth.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror,
Hey, Howie?
Yes.
I'm going to play a cut coming back. Joe Biden was on some Zoom call with COVID-19 vaccination center representative.
Yeah.
And it's a woman hosting it, and he goes, "Oh, are you a freshman at the university?" She goes, "No." He says, "Well, you look like a freshman." She goes, "Okay, thank you." It's very, very cringy.
And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings of Congresswoman Harris, Congressman Senator, did I say Senator Harris? He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what he comes in with doggy doo on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing. He's
Thanks.
been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first connect in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glenys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment. Of course not.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
It was because there was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Are you a freshman at the university?
No.
You look like a freshman.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you for what you're doing.
That was the host of some conference, and he called her a freshman. I guess it could have been worse. He could have called her a co-ed. Or he could have said, how many months pregnant are you? But, can you imagine if Trump said something like that? Again, he would be excoriated for the rest of the week. That would be the big story. Donald Trump, he can't see women as anything other than as sexual objects. Now, our next guest is Stormy Daniels. Oh, God. 844-500-4242. And now it's time for Grace's News.
Hello, Howard. Thank you for having me. I sent you this article over the weekend, Howie, to your email. I don't know if you saw it, but I thought this would be right up your alley. Book reveals worst about talented TV bleeps. Mike Wallace, Chris Cuomo, and more. Did you read this?
I did, Grace. It was in the New York Post. They had a big excerpt from it. And I said, I thought to myself, I looked at it and I said, in the old days, I would have read this, but now I just think these people are such jerks. And is there anything new in that book that I don't know, or that excerpt in the New York Post?
See, that's a very good point. Probably not. But for me, I haven't hit that stage in life where I'm like over the drama. I still love hearing it, especially from a firsthand source who's not afraid to quote people.
Is it about Mike Wallace or Chris Wallace?
Both.
Both. Funny, Taylor, it does hit on both of them. And it talks about Diane Sawyer and Katie Couric and Chris Cuomo. I thought the Chris Cuomo story, Howie, was really interesting. Also the Diane Sawyer one. So let me read that one really quickly.
Tell me.
The two-faced Diane Sawyer was infamous for her behind-the-back insults. If she was overly friendly and began to kiss you on the cheeks to say hello, chances are she was trashing you behind.
Keep your
back.
friends close and Diane Sawyer closer.
Sawyer would be all smiles when she ran into Barbara Walters in ABC's hallways, chuckling over rumors that the two were at odds and dropping the act the moment Walters was out of range. Inside the elevator, Diane looked at me and said, "I hate that woman. Don't believe a word she says. She knifes me any chance she gets. She had the look of someone who wanted vengeance." And now I have to say, there's a few stories in here I really like, How, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
One's about Chris Cuomo, one's about Katie Couric, and one's about Mike Wallace and Chris Wallace. Okay, so this is the thing about Chris Cuomo. Let's see here. Chris Cuomo, now a CNN anchor, brought little journalism experience, But a heap.
Well, so what? How does that make him different than anybody else at CNN or NBC or anything? All you got to do is be a coat holder or a relative of a Democrat politician, and then you can get a job.
Howie, you're going to love this. It says Chris Cuomo, now a CNN anchor, brought little journalism experience, but a heaping helping of entitlement to ABC when he landed a
What a shock.
correspondence job there. His brother, now Governor Andrew Cuomo, nicknamed Chris Mansion Boy because Chris spent his teen years at the governor's Albany mansion during their father's administration. In 2003, execs at Primetime Live asked Rosen to mentor Cuomo in investigative journalism. I reluctantly agreed. Cuomo greeted me with...
How about just writing obituaries journalism, covering the city council journalism before you move into investigative journalism? Okay,
said,
go ahead.
Cuomo greeted me with, I understand that you are my new B word. He lost me at hello, Rosen recalls. The son of a bleep Cuomo, I thought. He is definitely going to go far in this business. Katie Couric infuriated Rosen during her short and unhappy 60-minute stint. Lazy and disengaged, and thought she was smarter than all of us who worked on the show.
Oh, your kid. Again, Grace, this is shocking information. Katie Couric is lazy?
She wasn't, he said. And I like this. You're going to love this. Oh my gosh. I want to buy you this book, honestly. In 2008, at the height of Hillary Clinton's presidential primary battle with Barack Obama, 60 Minutes scored a coup. Both candidates agreed to let the show behind the scenes of their campaigns to film twin segments that would run in the same Sunday night slot. Couric was assigned the Clinton interview. Okay, so this is where it gets... But while producers wanted to challenge the former First Lady with weighty questions, Couric was determined to go with her trademark perkiness. She tossed Rosen's script and went for the fluff. How do you do it, she asked. I'm talking pure stamina. Clinton answered with a laundry list of grandmotherly inanities. I take vitamins, I drink tea, not coffee anymore.
Don't forget yoga. Don't forget yoga.
Wash your hands all the time, and if you can't, use Purell. The interview went downhill from there, Rosen gripes. I kept thinking, for this, they are paying Katie $15 million a year? Can I tell one more?
Go ahead.
Mike Wallace never mellowed with age. At ABC, Rosen partnered with Chris Wallace, who had a fractious relationship with his father, both personally and professionally. I now find myself in the weird position of passing along the lessons I learned from his father to his son. In 1997, as Chris Wallace prepared a story on comedian Chris Rock, his father derailed it by convincing Rock to do a sit down with him instead. Since 60 Minutes had better ratings. This was a betrayal on so many levels. I felt I had to call Mike, Rosen writes. Mike, why would you rip off your kid? I asked. He'll get over it, Mike replied. Rosen begged him to reconsider, saying, your choice is simple. You can have Chris speak at your funeral, or you can do the profile of Chris Rock. 15 minutes later, Mike called. I solved the problem, he said. I gave the story to Ed Bradley. Father and son did not speak to one another for nearly a year. I don't know how. I know you know all this stuff before, but these are pretty interesting stories.
Yeah, but you have to think that, Mike Wallace and Chris Wallace were decent human beings, which neither one of them really was. And probably Chris is a worse person than his father.
Right.
And
no.
How did Chris Wallace get into the business? Was it his innate talent, or was it being Mike Wallace's son? I mean, we know the answer. I would say that anything Mike wanted to take away from him in the business sense would be fine, considering without Mike Wallace, there is no Chris Wallace, right?
Right. And I'm sure it was a nationwide search, Howie, as you always say. Before I get to my
Jay
next
from Chelsea
story,
says, get that author on the show. We probably could get him on the Jay. Is that stuff you'd like to see, or you? I'm kind of over all these people. They're just such jerks. But if people want, we'll get okay, Taylor, let's get that guy on the show. Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
we take requests on this show. It's like an old top 40 radio station, right?
And I know what you mean, Howie, that we already know they're all jerks, but sometimes just to hear like the nitty gritty, like how I love hearing about people, like finding out people are really cheap or really rude. I don't know why. Like that stuff for me, I'll go on a Reddit board of celebrities who are actually such jerks in real life and hear stories about, I was waitressing and, he wouldn't so much as give me like a 10% tip, that kind of stuff. Really, I don't know.
After you read that story the first 1,000 times about John Kerry, you begin to think, John John Kerry tosses around quarters like manhole covers.
Yes, exactly. Howie, before I get to my next story, get simple recipes and fresh pre-portioned ingredients delivered to your door, contact-free with HelloFresh. Perfect time to do this. Most people are trying to have pre-portioned meals anyway so they can get back on track and get healthy. Plus, it's delicious. For a limited time, go to HelloFresh.com. Use code Howie10 for 10 free meals, including free shipping from America's #1 meal kit. That's code Howie10 for 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com. We use it all the time, and it's really great. You don't have to go out and buy like a million random spices or spend a ton of money on a particular meal. You can try a lot of different things, and it's reasonably priced. Howie, did you hear about this story with the new app where a journalist was being a tattletale?
Oh, I did see this. Yes, I saw this story.
Very good story. It's now, guys, bear with me.
This is Glenn Greenwald wrote this story, right?
Yes, it's an excellent story. It's a little in the weeds, but I'm going to break it down as easily as I can. There's a new forum. It's called Clubhouse. And I guess how it works is it's similar to Gab or Parler, where people can go and have free speech and say what they want, but it's voice recordings. It's not, you don't type anything out. I guess it's people, recording themselves, sending it back and forth. So there's a person on here, and her name is Taylor Lorenz. She's from the New York Times. I've seen her name before because I think she used to work at BuzzFeed, and she's one of those people who spends her life trying to get people
to the New York Times. Again, journalism no longer exists if that's the upward path of mobility.
Well, Howie, it's funny because I think she spends a lot of her time trying to get people canceled because I've followed people before who
tell the story about what happened with this. What's his name? Andreessen. So he's some guy from Silicon Valley, but he has like a brain, and he doesn't want to be woke all the time. So he had a bounty out on him, basically, right? They wanted to take him out. It was going to be a big scalp for one of these woke nitwits in the New York Times newsroom. So what happened? Tell us what happened, Grace.
His name is Mark Andreessen. He's a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. She claimed that he used the R word on Clubhouse. And this is what she tweeted. @PMarca just openly used the R slur on Clubhouse tonight, and not one other person in the room called him out saying anything. So now a person who moderated the room said, I moderated that room. Here's what actually happened. Felicia explained that the Redditors call themselves R Revolution, but Mark never used that word ever. He referenced something else, and that is why people block you because of this horse bleep dishonesty. So she did not apologize, Howie, when she said this.
And she didn't run a correction. She didn't run a correction, right?
Oh, no, she didn't run a correction. This is what she said. Thanks for clarifying that it was Felicia saying that word rather than Mark, as many in the room heard it. I hope you can understand how some people in the room felt hearing it. No apology, no retraction. And then
how some people in the room felt hearing it. But what's her name? Lorenz, nobody said it. So
someone said it in a different context, not him, and not in the way she was implying. And also, then she went and she turned her Twitter. What did she do? That's always a telltale sign that something's gone amiss, is when you turn your Twitter to private all of a sudden and no one can see your tweets anymore, which is something that, Howie, keep in mind, ironically, so many people have had to do in their careers because of this girl. They've had to go private because she starts sending the mobs after them. But I thought that Glenn Greenwald's piece was great. And I just want to read you this one part of it, Howie, that he really nailed it. He said, just take a second to ponder how infantile and stupid in equal parts all of this is. This New York Times reporter used her platform to virtually jump out of her desk to run to the teacher and exclaim, he used the R word. That is what she tried for months to accomplish, to catch people in
that's her beat. Communications. That's her beat, is getting people canceled that disagree with the woke policies of the New York Times. And this guy Andreessen, I'm sure he's not a Trump guy. He's just a normal American.
He's just not part of the group thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, ready? This is the last part, Howie, and then my segment's over. She says, Glenn says, but this is now the prevailing ethos in corporate journalism. They have insufficient talent or skill, and even less desire to take on real power centers.
Exactly. That's the military key desire.
The military-industrial complex, the CIA and the FBI, Wall Street, Silicon Valley monopolies, the corrupted and lying corporate media outlets they serve. So settling on this penny ante trivial BS Tattling, hall monitoring, speech policing, all in the most anti-intellectual, adolescent, and primitive ways is all they have. It's all they are. It's why they have fully earned the contempt and distrust in which the public holds them.
It was really a good piece. I read it last night. I didn't print it out because I thought it was too in the weeds, but I'm glad you brought it up, Grace. And Glenn Greenwald was so PO'd about this. He said he was taking a week off, but he came back early because he said that's how angry he was about what had happened to this guy.
I've been in that position before where you're like, I'm not going to write a column this week, and then something happens, and you're like, oh, damn it.
It's the R. People want to know what the R word is. Can you even say that anymore?
No. I don't want to be Mark Anderson or whatever. I don't want to be canceled by Taylor Lorenz.
It's not racist, okay? And it's not Republican. It's another word.
But everyone should check that out. I tweeted it out from my account. I'm sure there'll be more fallout from this. But she's been trying for months, Howie, to get on this Clubhouse just so she could tattle on people. I've never seen anything like this. It's so counterintuitive to what I learned growing up, which was like, mind your business. You know what I mean? Like, just leave people alone.
Yeah.
These people are all hall monitors.
We got to figure out a way to tell people what the R word is, though, because we saw it because we saw it online.
Is it another word for developmentally disabled?
Yes, that's it.
I can tell you this too. A person said it about Trump to Kamala Harris, and she laughed about it.
That's right. And then when she was confronted on it, she said, "Oh, I didn't know what he was saying." So that's why you began laughing hysterically as soon as he used the R word to describe the president.
It's also just the fact that she put that out there about this guy that could ruin someone's life. I mean, and this girl knows it.
He's got a lot of money. He's got big bucks. Someone said he's one of the big investors in Robinhood.
But now she just does it, and no retraction, no nothing. She's just like, oh, well, thanks for clarifying.
She's a bounty hunter.
Clarifying your lie. Thanks for telling you that you were lying. That's not clarifying. That's calling you out on lying.
I get it.
All right. Thanks, Howie.
All right. Thank you, Grace. The Biden administration's policies and executive orders are already causing some economic disturbance. Tax laws are going to change. Are they ever? Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity you've built up in your real estate over years or decades. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly voted J.J. Manning #1 for 4 consecutive years, because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission, but in an auction, the buyer pays. These are treacherous times in the real estate market. The residential real estate in the suburbs and the nicer areas is going through the roof. Commercial retail real estate, not so much, to put it mildly. You got to know what you're doing. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast at the highest prices, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With over 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you can be the next one. Call them today at 800-521-0111 or go to jjmanning.com and get your property sold. I'm Howie Carr.
Keep it here. The captain will be back after this.
For all of your last-minute Valentine's Day needs, head to 1-800-Flowers. Right now, get 24 multicolored roses for $34.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code Howie.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So of course he's obsessed with me.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. Cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Come on, man.
Come on, T-Dope. I want to do my share of the work.
Howie Carr is back.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show if you'd like to join us here. 844-500-4242. I love this part of it. Now remember that of the interview last night, he did the president always does an interview with the lead news anchor, whatever network is covering this, is carrying the Super Bowl. Like, for instance, 4 years ago, Fox had it. So in those days, it was Bill O'Reilly. So Bill O'Reilly sat down and interviewed Donald Trump. So last night, it was this woman named O'Donnell who works for CBS News. Nobody watches CBS News anymore. Is her name is it Nora O'Donnell or is it another? There's two O'Donnells. I forget which one it is. But anyway, so Biden said on January 4th, right before the Georgia Senate runoffs, this is what Biden said. Cut 18. We'll have it in a moment.
And John and the Reverend of Washington, those $2,000 checks will go out the door, restoring hope and decency and honor for so many people who are struggling right now.
It's a welcome thing to get $2,000, but is it really about hope and honor, or is it about just a kiss in the mail? But so last night, Nora O'Donnell gets the message from the DNC or from the White House saying, well, we're only going to give out $1,400. So can you help us make everybody forget? I mean, it's like 1984. It's like Pravda or Asbestia. Listen, so you heard Biden saying it's $2,000. So this is how Nora O'Donnell sets it up now that it's only $1,400. Cut 17.
You said you're not compromising on the $1,400 checks. You made that promise. You're sticking to it. So the big question is who gets the check?
Right. You're not compromising on the $1,400. Wait a second. How long ago was this? This interview was on February 7th? He said that on January 4th. It's a little over a month. It's 5 weeks earlier. And now you're just changing history. No one is supposed to remember what he said 5 weeks ago. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
The Kathy Ireland Gem Spa was one of the hottest selling gifts this holiday season. This Valentine's Day, give a gift that will provide a lifetime of sparkling clean jewelry. I use mine every week and my jewelry looks amazing. I had no idea how dirty my jewelry was until I started cleaning it with the Gem Spa. I bought one for my mom and for my aunts. Join the clean jewelry revolution. Get yours now. Go to
Alexander Hamilton said, "Those who stand for nothing will fall for anything." This is Toby from Cape Gunworks. When our founding fathers drafted the Second Amendment, there was no question of its meaning. Today, if you have questions, come to Cape Gunworks for some advice, training, or to send a few rounds downrange. We have a fully stocked pro shop with a huge selection of guns, crossbows, archery, classes, rentals, 15-lane range, and a friendly staff. Come on down to Cape Gunworks, Airport Road, Hyannis, or capegunworks.com.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, grandparents who no longer with us. I think it's up to 30,000 people have died. Over 600,000 dead, 600 plus thousand people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people.
Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people. 210,000 people have died. 4 million existing billion, 500,000. 50,000. A class of 25, you end up having two classes of 12, for example. But in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago. The Oval, back in May 2019, a $15 million, $15,000, $15 minimum wage. I got to the Senate 180 years ago.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, don't...
You have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress. 116, 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
The Democrat Party is so full of loonies, social justice warriors, progressives, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes certain moonbats get overlooked. So let's take this moment to shine the woke spotlight on Crazy Mazie Hirono.
I am not going to be a fool to Mitch McConnell's shenanigans. Why should any of us?
And it's not just a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn.
Bullhorns. It's racism. It's basically, for many people, it's anti-Semitic. It's white supremacy.
Why not take a stand and vote yes for it? Seems like you're trying to have it both ways, not be hung by it politically, but also not say that you don't support it.
I disagree with you, Katie, that why should we engage in the kind of sham shenanigans that Mitch McConnell is really good at?
I'm confused.
This was just a sham.
Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country. And I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up.
I think the noose is closing, and, Giuliani is like a loose cannon, and so is the president, frankly.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's 1 minute of getting to know Jared Diglio. What would be your last meal on Earth?
Pizza. Cheese pizza. Just regular cheese pizza.
What drink are you going to have with your pizza?
I gotta go Coke. You gotta go Coke with pizza. It's the perfect combination.
Where's your favorite vacation spot?
I'm a staycation kind of guy. I like just staying in my place, but if I had to go to a destination, I love Italy, especially Rome.
If you could live in any state besides Massachusetts, which one would you choose?
Nevada. Wide open land. People leave you alone. Plus, it's not that far from Vegas or LA.
If you weren't in radio, what profession would you be in?
Gigolo.
Favorite comic book character?
Spider-Man. He's been my favorite since I was a kid. He's the most identifiable of the superheroes. He's just kind of a normal guy who's got a lot of problems, but he's got to overcome it and save the day.
Favorite Star Trek character?
I love TNG, but I got to go with James T. Kirk.
Dogs or cats?
Neither.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
Brace yourself, guys. Here is 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. That they wanted their voices to be heard. I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they did.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Bar has literally been left on the floor.
Yeah.
And just being able to show up and clear it isn't enough. So it's great that we're having briefings every day, but we should be allowed to ask the questions even if it makes them uncomfortable.
So this is how, by the way, this is how rumors spread. This is how conspiracy theories get spun up by
government not being straightforward and not getting information that it's aware of, that it has access to, and make that public right away. I'm for transparency, and right now there's very little transparency.
Don't sugarcoat it. Give it to me straight.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Valentine's Day, it should be a big restaurant day. And but we'll open 25% indoor dining New York City Friday before Valentine's Day, so they'll have a big Valentine's Day.
Oh, what a lovely gesture.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. If you would like to join us here this afternoon, every weekday afternoon, and glad to be here. And Joe Biden, we heard some more of his reminiscences about his football days. He said he played on the University of Delaware varsity football team. That's a Division I school. Joe Flacco used to be the quarterback of the Ravens, and I think played for the Jets, and he played for a bunch of teams. But it's a Division I team. Of course, Joe Biden never really made the team. But then on the other hand, Joe Biden has also said that he was the first white student at Delaware State, historically black college. So it would have been hard for him to be on the varsity at Delaware when he was also attending full-time Delaware State University, because, they have these rules about eligibility. You have to be enrolled in one college or another. You can't be enrolled in two at once. But so he gave us some more last night, some more information about his imaginary football career. Cut 36.
Know that you were once a pretty good receiver yourself back in the day.
I had wild dreams. It wasn't to be president. I thought I could be a flanker back in the NFL.
A flanker back. I see him more as a single wing tailback. That was more the formations they were using in Joe Biden's day. Single wing, flanker back, a new position that Joe Biden just invented. All right, 844-500-4242. I think tomorrow we may do something with Jessica Vaughn from the Center for Immigration Studies. These orders are piling up on immigration. The executive orders. Now listen to this one. Again, this is one that has not gotten a lot of publicity because it's really appalling. The Biden administration has ordered officials to stop warning illegal aliens caught trying to scam the system that they might face deportation. You know why? It causes them undue stress. Undue stress. The order arrived in an email last Wednesday that said officers can no longer tell those denied immigration benefits. They're now called customers, by the way. So if a guy comes in to rob a bank and he robs the bank, he's a customer. He's making he's an undocumented alien making undocumented withdrawals. He's a customer. You can't tell the customers anymore that they have to return for a court date and likely deportation until this was decided that this was demeaning and damaging to the self-esteem of the customers. It was called an NTA, a notice to appear. Here's the quote. This guidance will ensure the agency is not placing undue stress on the customer who believes she may or may not receive an NTA, notice to appear, based on the information provided in their denial notification. Okay? So I'm not making this up. It just seems like I am because you're not seeing this in very many places. You're certainly not seeing it in your daily newspaper. And you're certainly not seeing it on network news. And you're certainly not seeing it on CNN or MSNBC. So Jessica Vaughn, we'll try to have her on tomorrow. Since when is the law not enforced because the person who broke it might become upset or